Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to my next video. And thankfully it's a bit cooler now. The heat is actually going. When will it rain? We don't know. But I've got a selection of blades here for you today. Some of them you've seen in my previous video where I was doing sharpening, maintenance, care of those. But in this video I'm going to talk about how I use each blade and why I've got a small selection. It is a small selection. People have many more knives and things. But I think what I've got here is sufficient for what I need to do. So let's talk about these individually. Let's go through them. And then one of the next videos I'll be doing in the woods is showing you the uses of them in real time. So let's come down here and see. So we've got a small selection here. And again, you've seen some of these. So let's start at the back and we'll work forward and just talk through each one and what I do with them. So let's start with the axe. One of my favourite pieces of kit. It is heavy. I wouldn't take this mountaineering or solo walking because you'd look a bit silly opening your ration pack with that. However, for if you're in a car, a canoe or something like that, or out for a few days, this is ideal. But if I'm going to be using this in the woods to get branches, to cut some logs, to make feather sticks and things, quick and easy. It's multifunctional. It's also got a hammer on the back. I can hammer tent pegs in. Gives me much more reach, and when I strangle up to do stuff, my hand is out the way of the blade. As are all these, obviously, but I find them out the way of the blade a lot more with this. But this is more for the heavier stuff. So if I'm going to, as I say, be collecting and splitting logs, quite thick logs, I will use this. And obviously also keep them sheathed up when you're not using them. These two knives here are the Mora knives, as described in my previous video. I have two. One is incredibly shiny, which is stainless. One is a bit duller, which is a carbon steel. I have two of these because I can identify from the shininess what they're for. The stainless shiny one is for clean work. So if I was slicing bits of meat, for instance, or food, I would use that one. The dirty one, if I was cutting nettles or if I was preparing a non-edible fungi or a corn pad or for plaster, I would use that. That way I know that I'm not going to be cross-contaminating my knives, something that may be poisonous. So that's why I carry two of those. We come to this one here. This is an ALCE Spanish knife. It's very old. I think it's one of my first knives. It looks a bit like a bayonet. I don't really sharpen this anymore. It's very old and blunt. But what I use this one for is for splitting smaller logs. It saves the blades on these. So literally, if I'm in camp and I've got a lot of logs to split, once I've got them down with the big axe, I can then use this on the top and split them through. If I damage that, I'm not too fussed. This little pouch here is my old army issue knife you've seen before. This one gets used the most because it's small and it's just nice to use for lots of normal everyday things. Ration packs, cordage, cutting a lace, whatever, bit of clothing you need to get it off. And it does have a bottle opener and a can opener on it. So, quite useful. I've then got my Leatherman multi-tool. For those of you that have used these things, they're very, very good. I try and keep all the stuff sharp on this. I dismantle it, oil them all, put it back together. But yeah, it's got a file on it. It's got a crosshead, flathead screwdriver, a punch, a blade. It's got most things. Pliers, wire cutters. So if I'm out and I've got some, making a little project, I'm doing some agricultural fencing. I need to burn through some elder to make a straw. That's what I'll cut it with, strain it with. This one. This is actually a gardening knife. You'll see many gardeners use this, or people in garden centres. They're good for opening like bags of compost, things like that. But I like to use this through denser things. So the best example is like moss, a handful of nettles, reeds, and because it's got a nice little curve to it, I just find it's a good way of getting through bits of foliage, especially if I'm paddling and I need to grab some nettles out of the way and cut them. Bracken's a good use for this, because you should never pull bracken, it'll just rip through your hand like razors. So that's quite good. Come to this one last. This one is my Opinel number 8. This one is very sharp. I'll use this one for my food on camp. So if I'm chopping peanut potatoes, cutting onions, mushrooms, as in the edible style, courgettes, whatever, that's what I will use on camp. Gets a nice fine cut to things, just like you in the kitchen. And then this one here, this is more of a keepsake. It was made, it was commissioned from my old ambulance crewmate. It was a new father present when I had my daughter. He got this made for me. It's a beautiful knife, very beautiful weighted, but it does look like some sort of Rambo knife. Incredibly sharp indeed. And you've got these grooves at the back there. So for you guys that might be watching in the States, for those that are in Canada, the wilds of Alaska, if you're going through your big pieces of meat, your beaver, otter, bear, moose, whatever you're going through, cow, deer, who knows, that would probably be very good for that. A bit excessive for the UK. I'm not going to be going hunting any sheep or cows at the minute. But yeah, maybe one day I will use it. At the moment, it's just a keepsake, emergency. So yeah, it's a short video for this one, but it just demonstrates why sometimes you may need a different blade for a different thing. And to recap, whether that will be your food, splitting logs and splitting fine logs, getting your tinder, your kindling down, your big reach axe for your big stuff, dirty clean knives, and your general utility knives, whether that will be your everyday string and cordage, or maybe on a bike trip and you've just got to do a little screw up or an Allen key or something on your bike. I wouldn't take them all out at the same time. I would take a selection, maybe one and another or something. But yes, the only other knife I have got, which is not in this collection today, I'm going on a trip tomorrow with work on a paddleboarding trip, is my water knife, my water rescue knife. So yeah, and the only difference to that is it's a small knife with a crooked end. So if somebody gets tangled in the reeds, I can cut them free with that. But there's not much of a use. You wouldn't cut veg fruit with it. And that's brightly coloured, so if you drop it, you can't miss it, and it floats. So that's the only difference. So yeah, that's my knife collection and blade collection. Try and keep it much longer, and I hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to my next video. Take care, folks. All the best.